So we are doing the listening test for Cambridge 7 there. So let's pretend that the right side is the answer key, but of course the answer key in the actual test is it's much better than this type of answer key I'm doing. I'm manually typing the numbers from 11 to 40, from number 1 to 40. Okay, and then we will just use YouTube as our recorder. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Wait, Claudette, how are you doing in listening? Here, 30. Claudette. Claudette. Daryl, have you tried listening already?
No, sir, this is my first time.
Oh, really? Like from the last time we reviewed?
Ah, you mean from the last time? Sir, I tried before.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, sir, I cannot speak. I'm on my way to Baguio. I have companions. Yeah. Yeah. Prioritize them first. Yeah. Ha ha ha. There. Okay. So let's begin. So if you notice, I went to YouTube there and then I typed Cambridge IELTS. I just typed Cambridge 7 listening test 3 and there it is. There. So that's all we need, just YouTube. Okay.
Published by Cambridge University Press. This recording is copyright.
Recording.
CD2. Test 3. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear.
Yeah.
There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.
By the way, guys, in the actual test, your booklet is still closed. Or in the computer delivered test, you still cannot see the questions at this point. Unless the recording says, now turn.
Now turn to section 1.
That's the only time you can see the questionnaire here. There it is.
Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a student and a job advisor. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
So we're looking at questions 1 to 5. So in so doing, we need to guess the answers. Just try to get a general idea. Student is in the blank year of the course. So first, second, third. Student is studying whatever that is. No more than 2 words. Receptionist. Where in the... Okay, can't get a context. And then there's another position here.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
So in the current IELTS exam, they have done away with the example. So you will not hear this part anymore.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Is this, room number 26?
Yes, that's right.
So, is this the Student Job Centre?
It certainly is. How can I help you?
Well, actually, I'm looking for a job, a part-time job. Do you have anything available at the moment?
Okay, again, in the actual
The student is looking for a part-time job, so part-time has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen.
Again, in the actual test today, there are no more examples. It will begin playing the recording straight away. like this.
because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Is this, room number 26?
Yes, that's right.
So, is this the Student Job Centre?
It certainly is. How can I help you?
Well, actually, I'm looking for a job, a part-time job. Do you have anything available at the moment?
Yes. Are you a registered student? I'm afraid this service is only available to full-time students.
Yes, I am. I'm doing a degree in business studies. Here's my student card.
Which year are you in?
Well, I've been at uni for 4 years, but I'm in the 3rd year because I took last year off.
Right. Well, let's just have a look at what positions are available at the moment. There's a job working at the reception desk at the sports centre for 3 evenings a week. That's Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays.
That sounds like fun, but unfortunately I have evening lectures, so that's not possible, I'm afraid. Is there anything during the day?
OK, that's no good then. What about cleaning? There's a position for a cleaner at the childcare centre,
Right.
but you'd need to be there at 6 a.m. Does that appeal?
6 o'clock in the morning? Ooh, that's far too early for me, I'm afraid. I'd never make it that early in the morning.
Well, there was a position going in the computer lab for 3 days a week that might be OK. Here it is. No, it's in the library, not the lab. Clerical assistant required. I think it mostly involves putting the books back on the shelves. Oh, no, hang on. It's for Wednesday and Friday evenings again.
No, I can't manage that because of the lectures.
OK, I'm getting the idea. Look, I'll just get a few details from you anyway, and then we can check through the list and see what comes up.
Okay, that's the first part. I think
Before
I
you hear
missed
the rest
this.
of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10.
I missed this part, guys. Oh my
I
God.
think na-miss mo yan, sir. Yes, sir. Na-miss mo yan.
Oh, sayang,
Na-miss mo yan,
one
sir.
mis-
Mali ka ata dyan, sir.
Oh,
Baka hindi natin mo perfect ngayon.
oh, that's my one mistake. I'm gonna score band nine on this one. Was it lecture center?
Hindi yan, sports center ata yung sinabi niya, sir.
Ah,
Now listen
okay.
and answer questions 6 to 10.
6 to 10.
We'll fill in the personal details on this application form first, if that's OK.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, what's your name again?
Anita Newman. That's Newman.
And your address, Anita?
I'm in one of the halls of residence for postgraduate students. You know, International House.
OK, that's easy. What's your room number there?
Room B569. No, sorry, B659. I always get that wrong. I haven't been living there very long.
Do you have any other skills? Typing, languages, that sort of thing?
Well, I speak some Japanese.
Right, I'll make a note of that. Now, let's see what else is available. What do you think of administrative work? There's a position for an office assistant at the English Language Centre.
That sounds interesting.
It's for 3 days a week, Monday, Friday and Saturday mornings. Interested?
I was hoping to have Saturdays free, but I need the work, so... Can you tell me what the job involves?
Yep, sure. It says here that you'll be required to deal with student inquiries and answer the phone.
I'm sure I can handle all that without a problem.
Great. Well, would you like me to arrange an interview for you? Say Friday morning around 10?
Oh, can we make it a bit later? Unfortunately, I've got something to do at 10. Would that be okay?
Not a problem. How about 11:30? Hope it works out for you, Anita.
Me too. And thanks for all your help.
Okay, the British.
That is the end of
the British
section
version
1.
is something like that.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So it's a dot, but you can use the American version if you wanted to. There, with a colon. There. So you have time to check your answers. So far, so good, people. Do you notice my what do you call this? The cursor there. You notice
Cursor.
my cursor? Yeah. It somehow tries to follow the line of conversation. I think
Now turn to section 2.
a good idea to do something like that. Okay, multiple choice.
Section 2.
Mhm.
You will hear a talk given by a group offering a walking holiday to raise money for charity. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
So for multiple choice, it's possible that all of the choices will be mentioned. So watch out for that. And then try to answer some of the questions if you can. What proportion goes to charity? Maybe A, right? Each WOCA sport goes to one student teacher school. And you start to track, you
Now
must
listen
be
carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
okay.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to have been invited along to your club to talk about our charity-sponsored walking holiday for education aid. I'll start by giving you a brief overview of what it entails. First of all, let me explain what we mean by sponsored here. This is where people promise to donate money to the charity if you achieve your goal, in this case to walk a certain number of miles. Basically, we are organising a 10-day holiday from the 6th to the 16th of November, with 8 days actual walking, trekking in the Samira Mountains. Let's have a look at some of the details. We require you to raise sponsorship money of at least $3,200, paying $250 of it up front as a deposit, and the rest in stages throughout the year. Out of this, about 35% will go on your expenses, and that leaves 65% guaranteed to go to the charity. Which brings me to the most important part. This trek is being specifically organised to help education in the Samira region. Last year we helped train teachers for the disabled, and this year we're focusing on the pupils. Each of the walkers' sponsorship money will go to help an individual special needs pupil in one of the mountain schools. In the second part of the talk, I'll be giving you a lot more details. But back to the basic information. Age limits. This is the second time we've run this kind of holiday, and on the first we even had an 80-year-old. But we found it was wise to establish limits this time. You have to be at least 18, and the top limit is now 70, though you need to obtain a health certificate from your doctor if you are over 60 years old. Now, the Samira Mountains are among the highest in the world, but you mustn't be too daunted. We will mainly be trekking in the foothills only, although there will be spectacular views even in the foothills. However, you will need to be extremely fit if you aren't now and you're interested in coming with us. You have plenty of time to get into shape. You'll be sleeping in tents, so you must have quite a bit of equipment with you, but you will be helped by local assistants. Your bedding and so forth will be carried by them. We ask that you only walk with a small rucksack with needs for the day. I don't think I've really said enough about the marvellous area you'll be walking in. Let's have a look at some of the sights you'll be seeing. Apart from these spectacular snow-covered peaks and valleys, there are marvellous historic villages. The area has been famous for centuries for making beautiful carpets, although recently there has been a trend to move into weaving blankets and wood carving. The people are extremely friendly and welcoming. We deliberately keep the party small in size to minimise disruption to people and landscape.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20.
So if you notice from this one, he mentioned all of it. So there's a keyword there, a long tradition. So I guess that's making carpets. Okay, that's the itinerary. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Spend all a day in 8. Visit a school, rest day. See black with oak carvings.
Now
Rest
listen
day,
and
swimming
answer
walk.
questions 17 to 20.
I hope that there are still some people interested. I will be distributing leaflets at the end where you can find out more information. But just for the moment, I'll outline the itinerary, the main high points of the holiday. Obviously, you'll start by flying out to Kishba, the capital city, on day 1. After a couple of days to acclimatise yourself, you'll start the trek on day 3, walking through the enormous Katiba forest, which will take the whole of the day. Day 4 takes us higher up, going through the foothills, past a number of villages, and visiting a school for the disabled in Sohan. Then you have a rest day, that's day 5, before going to the spectacular Kumi Temple, with 12th century carvings, set in a small forest by a lake, and that's day 6, the highlight for many. We stay near there for day 7, because then comes the hardest day, walking through very mountainous country, but culminating in a swim in the Pate Falls. This is the highest waterfall in the region. Day 9 is much easier, with part of the day spent in a village where they make some of the gorgeous red blankets. Then back down to Kishbar and the journey home. So, you can see it's a pretty packed timetable.
Gosh, I missed number 20.
That is the end of section 2. You now
Visits
have half a
A.
minute to check your answers.
Gosh, I have 2 mistakes already. Sheesh. I wasn't paying attention. Oh my God.
Bakit
Damn.
shock, sir?
Oh, what? Visit a what? A village.
This is a village.
God, I'm not paying attention. My mind was in the waterfall. Ah. Okay, let's look at the rest.
Now turn to section 3.
One word and or a number. One word and or a number. And then-
Section
Oh,
3.
this is a hard.
You will hear part of a seminar on ocean research given by a climate scientist. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
I'm not supposed to look at this anymore. Okay, 21 to 25 only. I missed this one. Float is shaped like A. Scientists from Black have worked on the project. The operational cycle. This one, it looks intimidating, but it's quite easy to follow. So it's a float. Average distance travel, float records changes in salinity, and one word and or a number only, guys. Okay, that makes it quite
Now
easy.
listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Thanks to all of you for coming along today to hear about how the Robotic Float project is helping with ocean research. Well, first of all, we'll look at what a robotic float does and its use. So let's start with the device itself. It looks a bit like a cigar, and it's about 1.5 meters long. More importantly, it's full of equipment that's designed to collect data. So it can help us in building up a profile of different factors which work together within the world's oceans.
Sounds like a big project. Isn't it too big for one country to undertake?
That's quite true, but this project is a really good example of international cooperation. Over the last 5 years, scientists from 13 countries have been taking part in the project and launching floats in their area of ocean control. And next year, this number will rise to 14 when Indonesia joins the project.
That's impressive.
But let's move on to how floats work. The operational cycle goes like this. Each of the floats is dropped in the ocean from a boat at a set point and activated from a satellite. Then the float immediately sinks about 2,000 meters. That's 2 whole kilometers down in the water. It stays at this depth for about 10 days and is carried around by the currents which operate in the ocean at this level. During this time, it's possible for it to cover quite large distances, but the average is 50 kilometers.
So, what is it actually recording?
Well, at this stage, nothing. But as it rises to the surface, it collects all sorts of data. Most importantly, variations in salinity, that's salt levels, and the changes in temperature, a bit like underwater weather balloons. Then, when it gets back to the surface, all the data it's collected is beamed up to the satellite. After about 5 hours on the surface, the float automatically sinks, beginning the whole process again.
What happens to the data?
Well, the information is transferred direct to onshore meteorological stations, like our one in Hobart, and within 4 hours the findings can be on computers, and they can be mapped and analysed.
Before you hear
there,
the rest of the seminar, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
Okay, this is challenging. A is at present, B in the near future, C in the long-term future. Okay, bring it, bring it. Up to 30. Understanding of climate change, naval rescue.
Now
sustainable
listen and answer
long-term
questions
change.
26 to 30. You say you're building models of the world's ocean systems, but how are they going to be used? And more importantly, when?
Some of the data has already helped in completing projects. For example, our understanding of the underlying causes of El Niño events is being confirmed by float data. Another way we're using float data is to help us to understand the mechanics of climate change, like global warming and ozone depletion. That's part of an ongoing variability study, but the results are still a long way off. However, this is not the case with our ocean weather forecasting. Because we know from the floats what the prevailing weather conditions will be in certain parts of the ocean, we can advise the Navy on search and rescue missions. That's happening right now, and many yachtsmen owe their lives to the success of this project. In addition, the float data can help us to look at the biological implications of ocean processes.
Would that help with preserving fish stocks?
Yes, and advising governments on fisheries legislation. We're well on the way to completing a project on this. We hope it will help to bring about more sustainable fishing practices. We'll be seeing the results of that quite soon.
It sounds like the data from floats has lots of applications.
Yes, it does. It's also a powerful agricultural tool. If we were aware of what the weather would be like, say, next year, we could make sure that the farmers planted appropriate grain varieties to produce the best yield from the available rainfall.
That sounds a bit like science fiction, especially when now we can't even tell them when a drought will break.
I agree that this concept is still a long way in the future, but it will come eventually, and the float data will have made a contribution.
Okay, everything.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
It's so rephrased, man. Okay, I think we handled that well. We're now going into the last section, quite challenging as well. Whoa, I saw multiple choice. Haha. I'm not supposed to look yet. Okay, we're in the right numbering.
Now turn to section 4.
There you go. Hotels and the tourist industry. God,
Section 4.
speakers
You
gonna
will hear
mention
part
all
of a
that.
lecture about hotels and the tourist industry. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
40. Yay, one word only. I love one word only. This one is the challenge, guys. 4 items. How might a guest feel when staying in a luxury hotel? According to recent research, luxury hotels overlook the need to. The company focused their research on what is the impact of the outside environment to a hotel guest. Okay. Then that one is quite easy for me. One word only. Okay.
Now listen carefully
Bring
and
it.
answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture forms part of the Hospitality and Tourism module. Last week, I looked at the economy end of the hotel business. This week, I'm going to discuss the luxury end of the market. Let's consider the following scenario. You wake up in the middle of the night in a strange hotel miles away from home, disoriented most probably from jet lag, when even the most expensive surroundings can seem empty and dispiriting. You have paid a great deal of money to stay in this first-class hotel with its contemporary technology, but according to recent research carried out by an international travel and public relations company, all is not well. The research suggests that even the most opulent, luxurious hotels seem to have underestimated the most basic needs of their customers, be they traveling for work or pleasure. The need to feel at home in surroundings which are both familiar and inviting. Do these findings, however, apply only to hotels situated in particular areas? Is it possible that the external environment can affect a guest's well-being? The company's research covered a whole range of different hotel types, both independent hotels and those which are part of large chains. They investigated chic so-called boutique hotels in the heart of downtown business districts, stately mansions located in the depths of beautiful countryside, and plush hotels built at the edge of tropical beaches, surrounded by palm trees and idyllic blue ocean. And the research concluded that what was outside the hotel building simply didn't matter. This is a fascinating revelation, and those of you hoping to move into careers in the travel and leisure industry would be well advised to look at the findings in more detail. But back to the main point of this lecture, the need to feel at home. What can the hotel industry do about it? And is the very idea so subjective that it's impossible to do anything about it on a global basis? However, nothing stands still in this world. One company has come up with the slogan, "Take your home with you," and aims to provide clients with luxury serviced apartments. Those in the business travel industry maintain that these serviced apartments dispense with all the unwanted and expensive hotel services that business travelers don't want, while maximizing the facilities they do want. For example, not only sleeping and living accommodation, but also a sleek modern kitchen that allows guests to cook and entertain, if they wish, at no additional cost. The attractions of such facilities are obvious, and it'll be interesting to see whether the company manages to establish a trend all over the world and make a lasting impact on the luxury accommodation market. Now, finally, I want to consider the psychology underpinning the traditional holiday hotel industry. As a hotelier, how do you go about attracting people to give up the security of their own home and entrust themselves to staying in a completely strange place and sleeping in an unfamiliar bed? Firstly, hotels exploit people's need to escape the predictability of their everyday lives. For a few days, people can pretend they are free of responsibilities and can indulge themselves. Secondly, there is something very powerful in our need to be pampered and looked after. It's almost as if we returned to being a baby when everything was done for us and we felt safe and secure. And not far removed from this is the pleasure in being spoilt and given little treats, like the minuscule bottles of shampoo and tiny bars of soap, the chocolate on your pillow at night. And we actually forget that we are paying for it all. Next week, I'm going to look at eco-hotels, a fairly new phenomenon, but increasingly popular, particularly...
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, this one was so fast. I'm not sure about my
Bilis
answer
nga
here.
siya, sir.
Ang bilis niya rito. All of
Ang
a
bilis.
sudden, he was already here. Darn, I missed that part. Hello. How many did I miss? This one is okay. This one is okay. That one is okay. That one. This one.
That
This
is the
one.
end of the listening test.
That's 2 items.
In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.
Computer delivered. There's no more transfer time. What I think I missed a third one here. Ah, so that's still an 8.5. So more or less, I have 3 unsure answers. Oh, there's the answer key, but let's check it ourselves. Business. Wait. Let's use our answer key here. So one thing that we learned is that some questions tend to really come in quick, right? So like it will just surprise you, like what? Okay, so what? Business studies? Huh?
Mali sir ha, mali tayo dyan.
What?
Third,
Wait.
sports.
What's that? One word only? Was it sports center? Oh my, tama yan, business studies. Considered.
Wala ta-
That's our course kaya. Okay. Cleaner, third, library, international house, B659, office assistant, answer the phone, 11:30. BCACBA, forest, temple, waterfall, village. I just guessed it. Cigar, 13 countries, activated 50 kilometers, temperature. A, C, A, B, C. B, B, A, C. Business, kitchen. I love one word only. World, escape, baby, chocolate. I got 2 mistakes. What was the other one? The village, right? And then what was the other one I missed that I guessed? It's somewhere here, right?
Yes sir.
Remember the
Yung,
hotels? Like
yes, yung hotel.
that was so fast, like, huh? Depressed. So I just guessed that one. That was a lucky guess. Depressed by the experience. But this one was so lucky. Gosh. But lesson learned, like don't put your guard down. Listen to each and every sentence. Sports center, yun, I see. But you can actually, guys, you can use the English spelling as well. Doesn't matter. That will be considered correct. But I tell you, this one is correct, man. Should have scored a bad 9. Your course was business studies. What's wrong? Okay, let's go back to that one. Where was that? So, any questions? Wait, I wanna look at the business studies again. Test 4. I forgot to bookmark the page. Section 2. Okay, that must be test 4. Okay. Let's go up to test 3. Okay, answers farmers. We did that already. There, this one. Oh, I was so lucky with that one. That one, right? I was thinking about high costs. There, oh, I was so lucky. All right, and then this one. This one was also so lucky. That was so lucky, man. And then this one. Here is studying. Oh my God, that's the trapper, guys. Did you see that? The student is studying business studies. There, it sounds very redundant. So business. I thought it was like the student is enrolled in a course, something. So that should have been business studies. But studying, that's the trapper. Oh, you got me there, IELTS. Okay. And then this one is something I really missed. Sports center. That was so fast. And then you realize, especially in the section 4, right? It was so rephrased. So rephrased. This one. Like this one. That one was so rephrased. Wow. And there's a tendency for them to mention it all, messing up your mind. Like, oh my God, the speaker mentioned it all. Which one of them is the right answer? That's how it is for multiple choice. So for the listening test, multiple choice is the toughest because occasionally, in fact, quite often, the speakers will mention all of the choices, messing up your mind. Whew. Okay, this is so much fun. I want to do this every day. Okay, guys, hold on. I'll stop the recording.